So basically, I noticed that there was a lot of empty seats in these venues that I was visiting, and I said, "Hey, what's going on with this? Why are there so many?" And they're like, "Well, that's if you can figure out how to get these seats full very quickly with a great user experience, you'll be the king in this space." And that's kind of like how Dibs was born.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the SportsTech AllStars podcast. Today, I have, I love how the world works in bringing these simple things together. I am in Goa, as listeners to the podcast for the last couple of episodes will know, and I'm speaking to somebody who, believe it or not, lives in Canada, but originally is from Goa, running a sports tech company based out of Toronto. Welcome to the show, Brennon D'Souza.
Hi, Ron. How are you doing? Happy to be here.
Man, I'm enjoying the sun and the sand. I had a beautiful day. In fact, we did our weekly show. I did it I do a weekly live show talking about top sports tech news for the week. I did it from a beach shack in Goa in a little tank top. I felt that was maybe a bit unprofessional, but it just fit the vibe that I was feeling. Today, I've had a nice day of working from beach shack, shall we say. So I'm very much enjoying my time in Goa and working from here. How is I believe it might be a bit colder where you are, no?
Yeah. No. So I travel a lot, but this week I am home, and I came to a nice -10 weather. So there's a lot of snow on the ground, and I'm about to leave next week for some more journeys. So hopefully I can get out of this, and it'll be a little bit milder for me. But yeah, no, all good. Part and parcel of living in Canada, right?
Part and parcel of the life of an entrepreneur on the road all the time. Brennan, I want to do a quick intro, but I think it's always best to hear from you. The reason I reached out to you, and we just discussed it, it's the first time that we've met, like literally 10 minutes ago before we started the recording. Uh, I just love the simplicity of the product of DIBS. Yeah. And the one line takes it all. It's upgrade your seat while you're in a sports venue via text message. That is the essence of the product. Am I wrong?
That's correct. Absolutely
Perfect.
correct.
And what I
I
love,
I actually
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, no, I was actually going to say it's you couldn't have said it any better because it's actually not more complicated than what you just said, and whatever you think it is, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I was attracted to because I love those. I love what I call grandma proof ideas, which you could tell anybody, and whether it's a baby or a grandma, they'll just get it. They might not like it or whatever, but at least they know what is happening, which is a really important description or way to position a business. And before we come to the actual business of what is Dibs, how I came across it, I know you guys would just come up out of cohort, out of a sports accelerator program. Before we get into all that, I want to talk about you. What's been your journey as a founder, which has taken you to Dibs?
Yeah, sure. So I am coming from the believe it or not the video world, the video production world. I used to be the director of media for like some large organizations, and Dibs actually was an idea that came out because I had a simple idea like, hey, what if you were in a venue and there was somebody who had nosebleed seats would could view somebody who had the see the view of somebody that had like floor seats, right? And this was around the same time that YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Periscope was coming out, and and so I went to the teams and the GMs and I said, hey, look, what do you think of this idea? And I'm pretty sure I can make it happen. And they said that's great, but it wasn't a solid business model at the time.
Mhm.
So basically, I noticed that there was a lot of empty seats in these venues that I was visiting, and I said, "Hey, what's going on with this? Why are there so many?" And they're like, "Well, that's if you can figure out how to get these seats full very quickly with a great user experience, you'll be the king in this space." And that's kind of like how Dibs was born. Instead of virtually getting them into those seats, how about we actually get them into those seats?
Right.
And when we started to do, like some testing on what would be the fastest way, we said, you know what? What if we just sidestep the app? What if like everybody's fed up of the app? There's sometimes it's low connectivity or no connectivity, or sometimes you might have an older person that's not tech savvy. So what if we just did this through text messaging? And that was kind of like how Dibs was born. And then we went on from there. One of the biggest, I guess, one of the biggest things that happened is that the pandemic kind of like stopped us in our tracks. I guess it stopped everybody,
Sure.
and there was a lot of unknowns. But I think what was really cool is that we were being vetted by Comcast in the SportsTech Accelerator, and obviously they have massive resources, massive network and connections, and we were able to pitch to them, and we said, "Hey, look, we think we have something here. Um, if we've done it in a 2,000 seat venue. If you were to allow us, like, a 40,000 seat baseball stadium through one of your contacts, we can prove very quickly this is either going to like fall flat or it's going to like take off like a rocket ship." Luckily, at that point, they hooked us up with we launched with the Atlanta Braves, and it was like a resounding success. So we knew we had something, and then now we're on our journey to bring that to like teams and leagues and venues everywhere.
I think it's once again the simplicity of the idea comes from usually a very simple origin story. By the way, I did like the casual flex of I just called a bunch of NBA GMs and said, "Hey, would you like this product?" So okay, yeah, man's got some phone numbers in his contact list, but good for you to have built that out. So it came from a simple idea. And did you get to the accelerator? As in, was it formulated? Was it incubated there, or were you already kind of a viable MVP running? And then that's what got
Yeah,
accepted by Comcast. Sorry, just to
yeah.
clarify,
So
this is the Comcast Sports Tech program, which is I think they ran their first batch last year. They're running the second now, and you were, I guess, part of their
yeah,
first cohort.
yes, yes. Okay, so it is the NBC Universal Comcast Sports
Yeah.
Tech Accelerator.
Yes, that is the
They
correct
have
name. Thank you.
Yes, yes, and they have massive partnerships, like WWE and
Yeah.
NASCAR, and like these huge behemoth companies. And really, what happens is when you go through the accelerator, they vet you, right? They vet your
Hmm.
idea. You could be an early stage, you can be a late stage, but they're really betting on the founder and the team to take it to the finish line. And so they also invest in us, like, so they are on our cap table, and more importantly, they talk to their partners, and the partners really have input in saying, "Hey, this is a company that we'd like to work with. This is something that we could trial. This is a proof of concept. This could be a commercial deal, right?" And so we jumped into that, and I remember thinking like, "Hey, it's one thing to be in an accelerator, but it's another thing to use that accelerator to its full potential." And
Hmm.
so my main goal in getting into the accelerator was meeting with these partners and then like basically sealing a deal, like getting a proof of concept. And in our time at the accelerator, is what happened with the Atlanta Braves.
Wow.
An introduction was made. We went through the ringer, went through compliance. They wanted us to put us in their stadium just in a small proof of concept way, but it gave us the credibility to then say, look, we did it, and now we can take that and replicate that across other teams and other leagues and other verticals. So that's kind of like how it was all born, and I'd say that it was our real it was the jump start that we needed on a bigger stage, that kind of like helped us get to like where we are right now.
And that is huge to maximize that opportunity. And that's what these programs are meant to do to help a company literally accelerate their growth. And if you can do it while you're there, I think very often, and this is just a bit tangential, but having been a mentor to a few accelerator programs now, I feel like a lot of startups literally hit the pause button while they're in the program for that 2 or 3 months. Like they forget about sales, they forget about hiring, they forget about a lot of other things, and everything becomes about the fundraise, which that's one of the worst things you can do, because basically all the judges and all the investors, everybody who was part of your application process, when they come back to you for your demo day 3 months later, and they haven't seen you really move the needle, you've had a bunch of conversations and stuff, but actually you haven't taken tangible steps forward, that's not a good sign to anybody. So the fact that you managed to pull that out, pull off an actual pilot, an actual POC, is fantastic. Now, talk to me about what's grown on. I want to come back to the product a bit, but since we're on that track of momentum that you've built, what followed after? Like
Hmm.
having come out of that, coming out of the program after that POC, where have you gone since then?
Yeah. So let me give you a little context. You said it best. We upgrade people from bad seats to good seats. Let's put it that way. But more importantly, what we're really doing is that we are selling distressed inventory. This is a
Right.
term in the distressed ticketing inventory. The term in the industry for this is inventory that is available 2 hours to 3 hours or whatever right before the event starts. And this is crucial inventory. Sometimes there are holes that get released. Sometimes, for whatever reason, those seats are there unused, available, and can be sold. So we go and we try to take that inventory and then we pass that along. We're like a conduit, right, to the people that are there. So people going to these venues are like, hey, look, I'm going to call dibs on like a seat upgrade. I'm gonna, oh man, I'm in the 400 level. This sucks, and I want what's the fastest way I can get down there? Now we all know you can seat hop. It happens. Okay, I've been guilty of it in the past. But
Yeah.
what we're trying to say is that look, what if you could actually just text a number? So like scan a QR code, text a number, and some options are given to you, and then you're in the moment. You're in the stadium, and you can be any closer. So yeah, you're in the moment. The sights, the smells, the sounds. You want to have a better experience, and so we kind of facilitate that better experience, and we work with the teams, the leagues, the ticketing operator to make sure that we can get you from that bad seat to a good seat seamlessly. And so we wanted to like do test that theory in different verticals. So coming out of the accelerator, we did the Atlanta Braves. Okay, cool. Major League Baseball. We know that the model's good there. Well, right after that, we did Penn State, and we had a little different version of it, but yes, you can see that it's applicable there. We then did all the music festivals in Montreal this summer. Massive music festivals. I'm talking 20 days of 50,000 plus people, and in that case, it was more like we provided like surprise and delights on behalf of Bell Canada, which was the sponsor. And then now we're in the process of like talking with Scotiabank Arena for the MLSE, and they represent four leagues in one. So we're excited to see where that goes. Maybe a licensing model. And then I was last week just at NASCAR in Los Angeles for the Busch Light Clash, and those talks have started with NASCAR as well. But the number one thing is like, yes, as we're moving through, we are proving that this can be a thing. We have to do it at scale, so we have to get the that consent and that good working relationship with those stakeholders, and then hopefully we can start to do this on a nightly basis at all venues and all teams everywhere. So massive path, but very excited to be on this journey.
I also love that I just got the name. I mean, I heard the name Dibs, but I got dibs in that seat. I just got it. Well done. Well played.
Hmm.
You snuck up on me there.
Yes.
I want to address something about the actual product lifecycle, because one of the things I love the simplicity of it, but then immediately my first thought was, isn't this a plugin? Isn't this just feature to SeatGeek, to Ticketmaster, to anybody else? And sure, maybe that's your exit route if you're looking for one, depending on how you scale, blah, blah, blah. But is that how you see it? Or is this, do you think this is a rich enough product on its own? You already mentioned surprise and delight, for example. Yeah. So that's a
Yeah.
way of
Yeah.
engaging with people who are already in the venue. So
Yeah.
is it just about the upgrade? In which case, I would say, I mean, it's a nice tag on or a feature that you can bolt onto any sort of
Sure.
ticketing app. Or do you think that this product can be richer on its own?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot to unpack there. Okay, so I think the first thing I would say is that you have to remember, and without getting into too many details with the ticketing landscape, because that's a convoluted system on its own. But you have to remember that there are primary sellers and then there's secondary
Right.
resellers, right? We are not a secondary reseller. We'll never be a secondary. That to me are the equivalent to like scalpers, right? Like that's just no value for the fan. Okay, so are we a tag on? We are only a tag on in the sense that we help the ticketing operator and the team sell primary tickets that are left over. So this is not like something that is like on any sort of like resale or resold market. This is us kind of like helping the fan that needs the seat, helping the ticketing operator that has the distressed inventory, and definitely the team that's gonna like lose money from an unused, unsold seat. So
Understood.
we are in
So
that last
just
moment. We do that handshake.
just to clarify my own understanding, so does that mean that if I bought my ticket off a secondary platform, I could still get an upgrade, or do I have to always have bought from the primary to be eligible to use dibs?
Look, the bottom line is that It doesn't matter how you bought your ticket to get to
Got
the
it.
venue.
Once I'm in the
What
venue,
we do,
I can upgrade. Got it.
absolutely. Look, we don't know how you got there. I mean, let's be honest. The financial patron is not always the attending
Yeah,
patron, right?
absolutely.
They are gifted. They are freebies. They're corporate tickets. It doesn't matter how you got there, but once you're there, that's when you jump into our flow, and then we take you to the finish line. So we made it super simple, and the only way you can do this at scale is to be, properly aligned with, like I said, the three people that are in the room the most, which is the gatekeepers. That would be the league, the team, and the ticketing operator. All of which is who we talk to make this happen for the fans.
Fantastic. I mean, I can still already see the use case because I mean, people who are in the industry, as you just went for an event, I mean, you might get access to an event, get a free pass here and there, get a free ticket to watch something because you're at you're part of something else that's happening around the event. I could come in and say, hey, maybe there's a court side. I got this for free. Maybe I'll upgrade, by myself. I mean, that's just one use case.
Yeah.
There are so many. Um,
And I will add one more thing. I
sure.
will add one more thing, Ron. Sorry to cut you off. So there's also two avenues. I mean, like, there's the transactional route. It's like, okay, if there's a seat there that's available, hey, I could purchase it. But what if you go to a team that, like, let's talk about like the Toronto Leafs over here, right? The Maple Leafs, they have no problem selling out. I'm sure it's the
Hmm.
same thing in the EPL. Look, it's sold out. So is Dibs applicable in like venues like that? And I'm gonna say absolutely, because those venues also reach out to us, and they're like, well, hold on one sec, we are sold out, but we always have inventory. There's always some inventory, even premium inventory. What if we were to up our sponsorship dollars, right? So let me explain the scenario to you. What if our big sponsors were to do a surprise and delight giveaway, right, into these seats, and for the people in that venue? It's like, hey guys, today try and get a seat, 10 free seats sponsored by X company, and it's a surprise and delight giveaway. 20,000 fans are texting in to try and win that premium seat. Well, hey, now that you got a lot of eyeballs on this call to action, and a lot of data coming in, so they are looking to up their sponsorship dollars by putting this sort of like activation within their venue with the sponsor. So yes, transactional, but also the sponsorship route as well.
Interesting. So that's I guess addressing my previous question as well about how the product scales or how it becomes more than just a bolt on to some sort of ticketing app, because you could totally imagine a scenario again for a venue organizer or manager to say, hey, we're going to keep 5 seats free intentionally just to run a contest during the game or in the first 10
Hmm.
minutes to say, hey, who wants to get into these 5 seats? And suddenly, as you said, you have an entire crowd of people,
Yeah.
yeah, messaging and gunning for those seats. Interesting. So, okay, we've set the context. I think you've done that. Obviously, the product is simple enough. Everybody who's listening is got it by now. I'm fairly confident of that. We've talked about your success. We've talked about your scale, and you're kind of pivoting around. What has been the biggest challenge for you to get? I mean, because everybody gets it. It feels,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It almost feels too good to be true. Like it's a no-brainer. And often,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
experience, like those no-brainer products, they still face a lot of resistance. So, what has been why? What are the no's that you're hearing? Like, what's the reasons behind them?
Absolutely. And you know what? So if you know the ticketing world, this is an old boys club. All right. This is a, hey, we've been doing business the same way for the past 30 years, right? And it's really what it is. It's I'm gonna say the biggest challenges are navigating, I guess, no navigating the relationships between the team, the league, and the ticketing operator. Okay,
Mhm.
that's the only way that this can be truly seamless. Okay, like, see, remember, you don't want to be another bolt on. Oh, hey, I come in through a text message and this. Oh God, there's another checkout. Oh God, I gotta log in. I need data. We don't want that. Right, we're going to stick to our guns on this. The bottom line is that there's a massive amount of people in any given venue that are not going to come through the app. Let's be honest, okay? But they will look for another channel. We're hoping to be that channel. But when you talk about challenges, absolutely. You will come into an environment like, let's say we're in the NHL and we're with a team over there. Those challenges are going to be different than what Major League Baseball is, different than what the EPL is different from NASCAR. So it's about taking our secret sauce and making sure that they work seamlessly in all these different areas. But you know what? Hey, if it was easy, it would have been done, right? And so that's why we're taking on these challenges and we're having those hard conversations, and they are hard conversations. But our plan is to change how this can be done. And I think we're winning. We're doing a pretty good job so far. It's just a matter of educating and making sure that we get it out there, get that brand out there, so people can start to use it.
Since I've got you here, and especially since, well, by your own admission, you're relatively new. I mean, you're in the world of ticketing, but also from an outsider, you came from a background of video. What do you, what is your take on Web3 based ticketing, or do you think that that is the, again, the key that unlocks us all? Does it complicate your product further, or actually it makes no difference to you guys because it's for everybody who's in the venue anyway? Maybe I can get additional data about the people who are trading in and out, but yeah, it's not really a concern for me. What's your take on that?
So this is my whole thing on innovation and new innovative products, right? It's a two-way street, okay? There's the startup looking to innovate, but there has to be the receptor that wants to take that innovation, right? And so that's that's cool. So like you always hear of, oh, this team has tried this new technology, or and the way I look at it is that it's one thing thinking that it'll work and then it'll massively be adopted, and it's another thing actually being adopted, right? I don't think about what's coming next. I'll be honest with you. I never think about like, oh, here's a slight change to something. You, people are very in their ways. They're set in their ways on how they're going to do things. We've just made it the lowest barrier to do something with the technology that they use every day and they understand. So in our way, sure, we can talk about all the new stuff that's coming out, and I'm super ecstatic for anything that makes a better fan experience. But right now, there is a problem, and that problem is that I'm in a venue and I need a better seat. And what's the best way and the fastest way, and a way that I can trust to do that? And we hope to fill that gap, and that's who we want to be right now. But yeah, to answer your long-winded answer, way of saying that, um let all the players come into the space. It makes it better for the industry, and it makes it better for the fan. But we'll see what happens. It's a big unknown, right?
Actually, I would disagree. I don't think your answer was long winded at all. I think you made a really interesting point. I think everybody has this maybe obsession, or obsession is the wrong word, maybe infatuation with innovation. And sometimes the today's problems get overlooked, or the opportunities, maybe because yours is not even really a problem, it's an opportunity. Like there's an empty seat three
Hmm.
rows or 10 rows down from me. How do I get, yeah, to that seat? And that's an interesting problem to solve when you do it with existing technology. Nicely done. All right. What's next? What's coming up for you guys? Where does Dibs go from here?
What's next? Okay, so I think our journey is so that we want to be everywhere. I mean, like, I know it's a tall order, but you know what? You have to think like that. Like, do you have organic growth? No, I think it's going to be like league by league. I really do believe that. But we have to convince, and it's a lot of convincing, the teams that it's revenue generating. We have to convince the leagues that their fans are happy. We've got to convince the ticketing operators that we
Sorry,
can
but
like
surely it is
work
revenue
with.
generating, right? I mean, your economics are fairly simple. For every transaction, you have a small percentage.
Yes, and you know what? That goes back to the earlier point you made of it should be simple,
Right.
right? But you have to remember that you are entering a space where business has been done the same way for a very long time.
Sure.
So you have to be able to do all the lift. You have to be able to like integrate with their ticketing operators, figure out their settlement processes. They don't want you to ruffle feathers. They want you to do your thing, but they want you to do their thing and stay within the lane that is theirs. And
Sure.
so I think that's the part that we're figuring out. How do you do this at scale? Because in the end of the day, if I go to Atlanta Braves game, and then I go to a Pittsburgh Penguins game, and then I go to a Steelers, like, I want to be able to call dibs wherever I am, or even a concert or a theater. And so that's why we have to make this super simple, stupid, that we can like make it easy for all also the teams to adopt. And they're regardless of which ticketing operator you're using, we can like get in there and we can solve this for you. And then hey, we're gonna help you sell more tickets, right? So yeah, it's a no-brainer, but there's also some challenges to make this thing really at scale and not just be a one-off in certain teams here and there.
Understood. I mean, you're trying to make it simpler and reduce the friction for adoption for the venues. But maybe I want my answer to be a bit more specific. If there's something that
Yeah,
you're,
yeah,
if there's a pilot that you're launching, if there's a new initiative that you guys are
absolutely.
going on, let's talk about that, where somebody can actually see the name Dibs ring out a bit.
Sure, sure. Okay, so let's just talk about what's coming up next. So right now we are engaging with. I don't want to name too many names right now
Sure.
because it's not fully sealed. But let's just say two baseball teams are on the roster. Okay,
Nice. Okay.
um, this is going to be pretty exciting because if you know baseball, there's two ticketing operators in the space. There's Ticketmaster that has I think 6 teams, and you have the other 24 are Tickets.com. We have a Nexus partnership with Ticketmaster. We have also an RDP with TDC. Um, we are going to be working with two teams. I can name them. If this interview was like 2 weeks in the future, I could have named them. But let's
No,
just
it's
say
fine.
that we're going
I
to be
just
working
wanted
with
to
these
see the
two.
direction that you're headed in. So that you're, let's
Yeah.
say, going deeper into the MLB. Are there any other leagues or, let's say,
Yes.
directions that you're heading in?
Yes.
Maybe you're crossing across, going across the pond, coming to Europe. Like, what's the agenda?
Absolutely. So there's I mean, God, there's so much going on. But let's just say we're starting in MLB for a reason. Okay.
Hmm.
Obviously, a lot of
High
games in
volume
the
of
season
games. Yeah,
and a
a
lot of
lot of empty
inventory.
seats.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is the lowest hanging fruit, and also the people that need the most help, right?
right.
So let's address that first. And I think baseball is going to be good because people are going to see how this works. And they will have that great years experience, and then we can start to move towards the other leagues. Now, NBA, NHL, I kind of like put them in the same category because um, depending on which team,
Yeah,
they may or may not need help. I mean, obviously, we know the flagships, and then maybe the others need help. So we have some initiations that are coming up in both NBA and NHL because they kind of like use the same arenas, anyways. And then I will say that courtesy of what's coming up with NASCAR, we're definitely engaging with them. One thing that's interesting is that we are going to be doing some trials, hopefully, with a certain football club in Europe. I
oh,
once again
wow.
can't name who, but we are going to be stepping across the pond to start to make those connections there. They're all linked. I mean, if you look at like certain organizations like the MLSE or FSG or HBSC, they have teams in the states. They also have teams in Europe. And I think this is how we're going to start to make those connections as we solve for teams over here. They're going to be like, why aren't we using this with our other property in Europe? So yeah, there's a lot going on, and keep tabs on us because there's definitely going to be a lot of information and a lot of PR surrounding that.
And before I continue the conversation about Dave's Loki, that's one of the things I love about, well, one of the good things about the Americanization of European sports. There's a lot not to like, and there's a lot of pros and cons, and we can have that conversation separately. But the best thing is this crossover of innovation, because as you rightly said, now American sports owners who go across sports, across franchises, are investing so heavily in Europe that it's bound to happen that the success stories will also come across technologies that they use, systems, infrastructure, etc. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to, and hopefully I'll see Dibs at a venue, maybe in Berlin, maybe somewhere nearby. Who knows? Let's see how that goes.
Actually,
Uh,
it's funny. Just on that topic,
sure.
one of the first people we got reached out to was Bundesliga,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was Cologne FC. But it was really early back then, just when we were in the. But it was good to know that people are actively looking for solutions to help. And like I said, we try to keep it simple so that if this is a problem, hopefully we'll have a solution for you.
Brennan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Speaking to, well, I don't know about saying a fellow Goan, but somebody with fellow Goan roots. That was a nice little surprise. If somebody, what's your call to action right now? Let's put that out there. So, are you in a fundraise? Are you just looking to expand client base in different parts of the world? What is that CTA, and where does somebody reach you?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, so first of all, I'd say reach out to me on LinkedIn. I mean, like, I post a lot. If you want to get the true essence of what Dibs is doing and where we're doing it, get on LinkedIn because I share a lot of the new partnerships, the new things. I do a lot of like speaking engagements just because, hey, if you want to talk about innovation, I'll absolutely tell you about what we're up to. But I'd say that on the fundraising side of things, we are doing a strategic fundraise. I believe that because it's this is a gatekeeper world. It's the gatekeepers that need the buy-in, right?
Sure.
And so we are actively pitching to the organizations that have like two or three teams that would see this being used in all those teams. So A, they're a customer, but B, they're also an investor. We believe that with the right backing, we've even we've got like some amazing board members that have just joined the team. Actually, one of them's like the senior vice president of technology for Comcast, and just to show you that this is the we're trying to go big. We're trying to let people know that this is going to be a thing. If we can get those strategic investors to come on board and support us and on this journey, I feel like we can move really, really fast. So yeah, my call to action is keep tabs on us, look for dibs, and then reach out. If you're a team, if you're a venue operator, if you're a league, and you see that this is a problem for you, reach out. We probably have a solution that we can help you with.
DIBZ.com, Dibs, and Brennon D'Souza. You can find him on LinkedIn. All the details will be in the show notes. All right, Brennan, my last question is my favorite one to ask. I like to believe that we are all sports fans first. So, what has been your favorite sporting moment, either as a fan or
Sure.
maybe as an athlete? Yeah, I'm curious to hear.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's an old one. It's something that happened. It's one of my first memories and greatest memories. But it's when the Toronto Blue Jays won the World Series in '92, like 20 what 1 years ago or whatever. It was or oh, sorry, more than that actually. But I actually went to the anniversary last year of that win, and it was amazing because they were showing all the video. They replayed that, but that scene of Joe Carter, like jumping up and down after, and it was like Toronto's first, it was like Canada's first win. It was just something that was in my memory, something that's just like burned in there, and that excitement was so amazing for everybody. I'm hoping that we can replicate that really soon with the Jays, and well, we did that with the Raps recently too. But
Yeah.
that's definitely a memory that'll always stick there with me.
Why? One of the main reasons that I love asking that question is because you can see that moment coming back in the eyes of the person telling the story. Like they're just touching it a bit, and you can see that excitement. No, it's a great time. I mean, time flies as well. 20 years. You're talking about 31 years to be more precise.
31 years, yes. My God, yes.
Jesus, it's a
I'm
while.
dating myself, but yeah, that was good for the country, the city, and
Yeah.
definitely good for the Blue Jays, right?
No, but the Raptors as well. Toronto has been
Yeah.
has had a good run in major sports
Oh,
recently, and long may it continue. Brennan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thanks for making the time.
absolutely, Rowan.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's a wrap for another episode. Yeah, we're going to continue. I think we have one more episode in our fan series. That's the focus for the month of February. For the month of March, we're going to be bringing you investors, lots of new funds in sports tech to talk to and talk about. See you guys then. Ciao.